companies. I have a company called Kitchens and Closets with an N in the middle. It's not my first company. It's not my first logo. It's not my first thing of something to work on. I've had a marketing company for over 20 years. I have had this company and then the invention and then side things along the way. The health and wellness is a side thing that I'd like to make more prominent. And interestingly, I put a little website out. I don't know how it happened, but some guy, I offer these 20-minute free sessions, and some guy booked one. So tomorrow night I have this 20-minute free session. I'm like, hey, who is this guy? And what's he about? And does he really want my help? And all those questions we ask ourselves when we get into something, and then it starts to happen. So life is very interesting. So what can we talk about? I'm hearing so many stories. We have all these entrepreneurial women. I'm looking down. If I look down, I'm looking at my notes that I took when you were speaking. And we have people involved in health and wellness and building things. And by the way, I am a ServPro customer. When I had a situation in the house, ServPro helped me out. So that was awesome. So what I think I'm really good at, what I'd like to help you with, and you can ask any question. I feel like sometimes I'm one of those Ask Beth people that, you know, I've been a self-help person since I was a teenager. And I had a great mom that gave me so much honest input through her life. And she was involved in inner city schools and real life situations. And one of the things she said to me is, you know, Shoshanna, she said, you're not unique. We've all had these problems. Everybody's had what we have. So we're not alone and we're not unique. And I thought that was a really great thing to hold on to, because anytime I feel unique about something difficult, I'm like, yeah, there are more people like that. And through my dad, I learned, you know, it could always be worse. And that's true too. I think we all know that. It could always be worse, and it really helps put your problem in perspective. So I'm very good about creating ways to see something differently to help me keep moving in my direction, whatever that is. I'm very good. I've learned from a woman named Deborah Battersby, and one of the best experiences ever was taking what seemed like a negative emotion and creating something positive from it. If you're interested in that, I would love to share that with you. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever learned. But then as an aside, I thought I would also share with you, has anybody ever heard, you can raise your hands because you're all on mute. Have you heard from this group called tut.com, T-U-T? Emily, you have. Most people have not, it's out there. If you go to tut.com, you will get a message from the universe. You sign up for this, you put in your goal, and every day they send you a message from the universe. And when my most recent husband died, I can't remember, I did write it down somewhere. I wasn't gonna really bring that up, but I got a message that was perfect on spot for that day. And there were so many times when I would get messages from Tut and it would be that message that I needed that day. So that's a great thing for all of us who are on our own. We're pushing hard. We just need a little bit of inspiration sometimes from out there, and it seems to fit. Another thing I thought I would share with you is I call this my belief packet. And I'm working with a coach now too. And I had to work on my own beliefs about myself. And I really prefer having a purpose statement, like, what's my service statement? And it was in my little bio. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but it says, I haven't memorized it, but it says, I help people feel encouraged, inspired, and elevated through my understanding and positivity, always adding value and helping them feel better than they did before. And what's interesting is by living this service statement of my purpose, doesn't really matter what my beliefs are, I'm finding, because my purpose is what's getting me to where I want to go. However, we still need to work on our beliefs because our beliefs affect our thoughts, which affect our emotions, which affect our actions and then our results. And I can type anything that I do up for you later. If you write questions in, I will respond to those. But there were things like, I let my vision drive my behavior. So we all have visions. Timing is everything. And we can't, just like that invention I came up with, I don't know if it was 6 or 7 years ago, and year after year, I plug away. I'm like, oh, then maybe that's somebody who could help me. Maybe that's somebody who could help me. Eventually it works out. Another one I wrote, I am making progress toward my consistency. I don't know about you guys, but consistency for me is key. We have to have plans that we live by, and we have to be consistent in them, or we're going to be on this roller coaster where, oh, we're having a good day. Oh, it's not going so good. It's back up again. But if we keep doing the activities, we can find a balance and we can manage our emotions because we know we're doing the work that we need to do. Here's another one. I know the activity required to reach my goals. If I do them, I'm good. If I don't do them, that's my problem. So there were so many things that I had, and I'm sharing them with you because I feel like sometimes we have these things in our heads, we don't write them down and we don't address them. And by addressing them, then we can deal with it. And then here's my last one. It says, I believe it is in my best interest to reach my goals and exceed them. How many of you self-sabotage yourselves like halfway through anything? I don't care if it's weight loss or business or some kind of project out in the garden. I love gardening. So it's called my belief pouch. And I just took index cards and I taped them together on 3 sides and it creates a pouch. And then in my pouch, I have all these notes that I've collected over the years that mean something to me about other activities that I've done for myself. And what I do need to be doing is reviewing all of these more often, but I know where they are and they have power and they have strength. And when I touch it and when I see it, I know it's my commitment to my journey and it makes me feel strong. So I just created this. I think we should market it. If any of you guys want to hop on board with that one, let's do it. So do you guys want to hear this really cool strategy to take what might appear to be a negative emotion and bring up the positive from it? Yeah. Yes.
Do it. Yeah.
Okay, so this is super cool and it's really personal. So you might see my eyes go up in my head. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I want you to think about a feeling. I have worked through loneliness. I have worked through anxiety. I have worked through fear of a PTSD type of fear. I have worked through feeling sad. I have worked through so many feelings that now don't bother me. So they seem like they're negative, but they're not. I'm going to explain it in a minute. So what I want you to do is come up with, just take a second. What feeling is burning that you know is getting in your way of your day or your success or your relationship? And when you get it, I want you to think about where you feel it. Now, for me, it's in my gut. Usually it's between your heart and your gut. For me, it's right down, right about here in my, whatever this is, my solar plexus, it's right down there. So for you, just get a hold of that. Where is it inside of you? It's very important to know that. And you can close your eyes and you can turn off your cameras if you need privacy. It's a cool exercise. So now that you feel it, So here's how it works. And you can do this. I learned this by a woman named Deborah Battersby, and she believes that there are no negative emotions. So you feel it and you close your eyes and you talk to that emotion and you say, so loneliness, so why are you here? What are you doing for me? Or anxiety, why are you here? What are you doing for me? Or procrastination, why are you here? What are you doing for me? And you're going to get an answer. And what you might find is the answer is, well, I'm here to protect you from, procrastination might protect you from the disappointment when things don't work out the way you want them to. So by procrastinating, you don't have to do it. Or the loneliness might be protecting you from feeling the peace and joy you get because maybe somebody hurt you once and you don't want to be rejected again. So loneliness keeps you in a safe place. We already know this feeling. So when you get really honest with yourself about what is this and what are you protecting me from? What are you trying to save me from? Then you can say, okay, well, you know what? I don't need you to protect me anymore because I would like my strength to come back up and serve me so I can reach my goals. And it's okay if I mess up. Or I would like my peace and happiness to come back, and I'm going to take that risk in this relationship or in this job or in this venture that I'm going for because I believe I'm going to succeed. And I give you permission, loneliness or anxiety or whatever that feeling is, I give you permission to leave and be up here. And you literally feel it coming through your whatever, wherever that starts on you. And it's usually in one of the chakras. And let it come up through your mind, through your top chakra, out and float. And say, I need to make room now for the goodness. And then through your feet, feel whatever it is, that strength, that joy, that love, that pleasure, that motivation to want to work, whatever that is, let that come up and work its way through your feet, up through your legs, up through your center, into the place where that other feeling left. Because you probably already know this. I feel like you guys know a lot based on what you've shared. You can't move, including food. I mean, including dieting or food plans. You can move something out, but you must replace it. You can't leave a hole. You must fill it with something. So fill it with something good. And by the way, I have been bulimic before. So I'm telling you, I've lived 9 lives. But move that good feeling up through, put it where it needs to be, and say to this feeling, you know what? I promise you, if I get nervous or scared and I need your protection again, then you have permission to come back in. So you're not negating, you're not avoiding, you're not ignoring these other feelings. They're not bad. They're there to protect us from something. And we give them permission to come back if we need them. But I promise you, if you try this, it will be something that you will eventually, with all this awareness that you have, which I know you have because I see the kind of group that you're in, you're going to be able to use this exercise in these old feelings that didn't feel good, that were protecting you from something, are all of a sudden going to start evaporating. And you're not going to even know. You're not going to remember what they were, because I had a bad one about a week or 2 ago and did this again. I don't even remember what it was. That's what happens, because I'm on my path again. We always get tripped up. So I hope that's helpful. You're welcome to ask questions about anything that I've been blurting out for the past 10 minutes or whatever it's been.
No, that's fine. Hey, I wanted to ask you a little bit, because when we talked last week, I don't even remember when we talked, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you were telling me about you hired a coach and that was quite the process for you. Can you kind of talk us through what you were feeling and how you made that decision? And since you made that decision, what's been going on?
Awesome. Yeah. So I decided, I used a lot of my own experiences, that procrastination, that things that kept me safe. I know things have a way of working out, and that's my safe place. I just keep doing what I do and things work out. Well, I got tired of that. To me, that's sort of status quo, and I wasn't able to be consistently working my game. And it's amazing what happens when you consistently work your game. There's a book called 212 Degrees. I have it right here. The coaching system, they sent me a bunch of books. This book, if I thought I was A-type personality before, and now I call myself a Southernized type A, well, I'm back on my A game. It's a great book. And so what the coaching, I just decided, I got on a call. We all get invited to these webinars and things, and they were promoting. I actually sent the book back to the author to be signed, that particular book. It's called Navigate 2.0. And I've been in sales for many years. And this, I felt, really helped me understand the sales process differently. So I got on the phone. I said, yeah, I'll take a phone call from somebody. So some guy called me. It happened to be the author of the book. And he gave me 2 hours of his time. And I felt like I was with somebody who really cared, somebody who could hear me, somebody who wanted to really help me get out of my comfort zone and into this new zone of where I've always wanted to be in my most of my adult life. Of course, children happened and various things happened and divorces and deaths and gosh, you name it. And then my own garbage inside my own head from everything. But I decided to bite the bullet, and it was more money than I ever would have spent. It was $1,200 a month. And it started like that. And I made a deal with them. I said, I'll do that for 3 months. And then I need to go to $600 a month. So if it's not you, I'll work with somebody else. I'm willing to put in all this money because I never went back for a master's. I have a college degree. I never went back for a doctorate. I never went back for an advanced degree. I'm like, this is my degree for me. That's if we have to justify, which I don't, but I felt like I wanted to, it's my degree for me because I don't need the formal education. I need the belief in myself. I need the consistency. I need to know I have somebody on my team. When you're a high achiever, which you all are based on what I've seen today, when you're a high achiever, there's a saying that it's lonely at the top. You're in your head, you're making your plans, you're designing, you're developing, you're creating, you're working it, there's all this stuff. Nobody can keep up with you. People will love you, they will care about you, they will, maybe inspire you, maybe, support you. But who's really, now I know Trina does this for clients, but most people don't have somebody, and I never did. And I just kept fighting it and reading the books and working it and putting the pressure on and making the deals with myself and doing all that. And finally I said, no, you know what? I want help. I want to do it this time. And there was a saying that he had, I don't think I can repeat it. It's written somewhere. I can look it up later, but on when the pain of not doing something is greater. Is that how, how to say that?
Yeah, I know that exact quote. It's like when the pain of staying where you are
That's it.
is greater than making the change, than the fear of change, you'll do it.
So
But you've got to get in that much pain to overcome the fear, or you'll just stay stuck.
yeah, and because I've been faced with a lot of death lately, my husband and then my mother, and I was only married for 4 months to this man when he died.
Oh,
It was like very shocking. Both were very quick and very shocking. And I think because of that, it lit a fire under me to say, wow, you know, I really want this to be part of my life story. And, you know, even no matter what I created from here forward, I know I will have given it my everything. And I've always said to my kids, I said, you know, when I die, nobody's ever going to say, oh, too bad Shoshana didn't. Or too bad Shoshana, you know, could have. It's not my story because I have gone all over the place and done all kinds of things. If you look at this collage on the back wall, I don't know
okay.
if you can see it, but that is a trip I did when I was 17 with one of my girlfriends out west with a backpack for 6 weeks. And we went through 6 states. You can't do that anymore, but so there's no sad feelings for Shoshana, I'll tell you that much. But that's my coach story. That's how I got into it. I want to stick with my purpose, and he helped me write my purpose, which that's the other thing. When you've had something significant like a loss or a bad devastation of some sort, or the loss of a job or a business, or, you know, the whole COVID thing is unbelievable. But when you have those things, sometimes you lose your purpose. And I never really knew what my purpose was in writing, although I knew what people always said about me. And I never really believed what they said about me. It's like, ah, poo poo. Oh yeah, whatever, you know. And that wasn't true at all. I looked at what people had said about me and I said, well, that is who I am and that is what I do. And writing my bio to speak today was like, I got such a high from writing that. And I'm glad that you're all here to share this with me and share your stories with me, because it's really cool when people who are really working this hard on their lives and in their production of what they can create, their creations. I don't know a ton of people that do it and work on it so much.
Very nice. Hey, I see that Rose Maria jumped in like in the middle. Hey, lady, hello. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how are you?
Hello.
I'm fine.
So, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. Give us a success story.
Okay, well, can you hear me? Because it's my first time doing
Yep.
the Zoom. That's what took me so long. So you can't
Yep.
hear me?
No,
Oh,
we
okay,
can't.
okay. Well, success. I just been pushing along with my business. I am working on getting a dessert food truck because of everything that's happened. I had to get through the shock and just go with the new norm. So that's where I pretty much got the financing for. It's just so I think that was pretty big for myself. Now it's just to find a dessert truck so I can do more outside
All right.
events.
So everyone doesn't know who you are. Introduce yourself and what do you do?
Okay, I'm Maria's Pink Box. I'm the owner of an online baking company. Your #1 source for baker sweets, and you get them in pretty pink boxes. I have extensive product line with services from catering to online, to vendor, to wedding services, just a whole rim of fundraising, just a whole bunch of services, which is what I really work hard with my business to have more than one service and more than one option, and extensive sweet product line. So that's what I do. I sell stuff all day on the websites.
Very nice. Absolutely. We're so glad you're here.
Well, thank you. It was really enjoyed what I've heard so far.
Yeah. So does anyone have any questions for Shoshana? Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
I have a question of that interesting technique. Does it have a name? You know, turning negative from positive.
Name. I posted Deborah Battersby's name on our chat, so you can look at that. And I don't remember, I have a recording somewhere on my computer from when she must have done it with me. But if you look up Deborah Battersby negative emotion, you'll probably find it.
It's not really a question, but more of just a, yeah, I get it statement. But the whole getting the coach was a huge deal for me this past year. I did a couple of sessions last year that kind of turned me on to the process. You know, I was a little intimidated by the process. And this year, a woman posted, this girl posted, she was doing a beta program and she was looking for women who were, you know, close to 50 or just over 50, had, you know, looking for a change in their careers, had a passion project. They weren't quite sure how to, whatever. I mean, it was me just checking the boxes all the way down. And so I applied for it and got it. She called me and talked to me for like an hour. And in the first session, just like you were saying, in the first session, it was just an interview session. She hadn't even chosen me yet. But I said, I have all these ideas, but I don't know which one to choose. And so I started just babbling all this stuff to her, much like I'm doing right now. And she connected all those dots and she says, I don't know. She goes, yes, you are babbling, but you just babbled out a program and a business and a book, all the things. And all those things do connect. You don't have to pick one. Matter of fact, if you pick one, you won't have a business. So it's just been really cool. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of money. But I would encourage anyone at any stage of business. There's an accountability to it that's really pretty cool. I've done better work, I think, even for ServPro. It's deepened my understanding of what I'm doing there and why. So great. So I just wanted to thank you for sharing that story, because it's encouraging to hear someone who has much more experience still want that and need it. And Denise talks about her coach all the time too. She's got one as well. So it's just, I highly recommend it. It's worth the money.
I think, sports people have coaches and they have coaches always. Mm-hmm. Musicians have coaches, and it's not unusual. I don't know why creative people with ideas that they want to see come to fruition, why we think we should have to do it by ourselves.
I know. Well, and that is kind of crazy, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why I created Mirelli as a group. I said, so that you're never in business by yourself, that you can surround yourself with other people in business and do things like this, do masterminds, do brainstorming, and actually be able to support each other and help each other, and pick ideas from different people and get feedback, accountability. That's the whole point of doing it. So, yeah. And I love my individual private clients. Absolutely. They're fabulous. But as a group, we also can just help and support each other, which I really think women in business need to be supported. Seriously, you need to support each other. We all need to support each other. So that's what we got to do. Yeah. Anyone else with questions? Emily, got anything going? What are your
question? But I love that exercise. I'm definitely going to try it and look up Deborah Battersby. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Shoshanna, by the way. It's been a while. And I'm excited for you that you have so much goodness and inspiration going on. And I do love that the last piece in there is to give permission for it to come back versus, because I think one of the big pitfalls people make is trying to tamp down negativity rather than letting it, come up and releasing it, because, we all have shadow stuff. We all have negativity. It's just the human condition, and it's okay. It's when we ignore it and deny it that it comes out in all those dysfunctional ways that really create havoc in our lives and the people around us. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Vicky. Hey, Vicky, what's the score of the game?
They just won the first game. in the bottom, it's a doubleheader, so it's only 7 innings. He just hit the guy on my television, just hit a single and brought in 2 runs, and the Phillies won by 1 run. So I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, and maybe my win is that football starts on Thursday.
There you go.
Ooh.
You
So
and
some football starts, not all, some.
Trina and Shoshanna, you both have confirmed that, and specifically Trina because she's my personal coach as well, that the women really do need to support each other. Because I know I wouldn't be in the business if I didn't have a group that I can just say, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? What direction do I take? And even if it's just one sentence or one thought or just one idea, that can change your whole mindset. So thank you.
Yep, absolutely, really can. So Alex, what about you? What are you thinking?
I mean, it certainly resonated with me because I know sometimes the anxiety and these supposedly negative emotions are usually related to something that it does serve a purpose, and to be able to actually ask the emotion, why are you here? And figure it out is a great way, because a lot of us, we have all these emotions, and so it's better to acknowledge the emotion than to just bury it down and ignore it and think it's going to go away. It's not. It's
Right.
not. So it's better to at least acknowledge the emotion and then just let it go if you can, or at least ask it why it's here. So, and that resonated with me quite a bit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that is actually a really great exercise. And the more you can get in touch with your emotions and understand why you're feeling what you're feeling. And I like the idea of trying to find it in your body. It's funny because most of my negative emotions are like right here. They're in the back, they're in my shoulder and in my gut. I almost never have anything in my gut, but it's always up in my neck. But I know if I start to feel it, it's like, okay, where's that coming from? And yeah, I mean, you definitely acknowledge it and accept that you're allowed to feel it, but you can't let it stop you. So you've got to get it out of the way. And I love the talking to it. I was taught previously that you acknowledge it and just go, not right now. Thank you for playing, but I'm not dealing with you right now. Versus the actually talking to it and go, tell me what you want. What is it? How can I make you go away? I love the idea of what are you protecting me from, or what is your purpose? I like that a lot. So yeah, just do tools. And yeah, we'll be looking up Deborah Battersby. Yeah.
I like
So Shoshanna. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Beth.
to say that I've done similar exercises before about the emotion, but I loved the physical aspect of that. I had never, I've done it, I guess, with breathing work. They talk about focusing on, whatever is in pain in your body, as you breathe, and or focus on, if you have anxiety, focus where that is. But I've never connected it with emotion like that. And so that's because I feel mine dead center in my chest. Like I can't take I can't take a breath. And so so I use like a breathe exercise for anxiety. And so that it's a cool, but I've never noticed that it was different emotions that were there. I just always attached it to anxiety. But when I was thinking through it, it's any of the negative emotions. They just collect there, and anxiety is the easiest one to blame it on.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
you know, and for people with eating issues, I thought I would share. It was about, trying to think, it was, I don't know, it was 8 years ago about, I lost about 13 pounds on purpose. And when I would feel hungry, I couldn't believe the emotion I felt. It was like, it was a sad feeling. If I felt hungry, it was sad. And so I used to eat to fill my, actually to drug myself so I would take a break and rest. Honestly, it was my drug. But when I started losing the weight, I learned how to rub my solar plexus area, which is where I get my negative emotions. And I learned how to say, it's okay. You can be a little hungry. So I started to learn how to talk to myself and say, it's okay. You know, you're okay. You've had enough food. It's good. Go get some water. Go. It's about being nice to ourselves. You know, a lot of us with these crazy creative minds, and I mean crazy in the best of ways. I love when people are creative. I find them so interesting to be around. And we don't always know how to be nice to ourselves because we're always trying to do so much and be so much. So I think learning to be nice to ourselves and giving us permission to have the feeling and giving us permission to, you know, feel something maybe a little uncomfortable, and it's okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is someone going to pop in? So Shoshanna, tell us about the dragonflies on the wall.
Oh,
What do those represent?
can you see them okay?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very small on my screen. So my mom lived in Mexico, and when I would go, I would always find the coolest things. And so this is all metal art. And of course, I am a sun person. I love yellow is my favorite color. And the fairy I thought was kind of cool because everybody needs a fairy. In dragonflies, I found this big brassy looking one, the copper one downtown many, many moons ago when I moved here 21 years ago. And so when I saw those little ones, I don't know, I thought, yeah, dragonflies. And you know, I love watching them outside. Their wings kind of glitter, and I saw some outside the other day and they were sort of playing tag with each other and they were chasing each other. So I like watching squirrels. They're like monkeys. I like watching dragonflies. I find so much pleasure in nature, and there's nothing any more significant than that.
Okay.
I'm a duck woman. I could sit here and watch ducks just all day long.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I can't remember what comedian I was watching, and somebody said, well, you always seem so calm and so cool and so collected. He said, picture a duck. And on the surface, calm, cool, and collected. But if you look below the surface, they are kicking up a storm. So I said, well, you know what? That's an interesting perspective because it's the truth. You look calm, cool, and collected, but inside you could just be kicking up a storm. But you get where you need to go. So I could watch ducks all day and just enjoy that little.
I actually think most of us are probably more like a hummingbird.
But
Just fluttering, fluttering, fluttering.
yeah, you know what? I can see that.
Hummingbirds. I love hummingbirds. I could watch them all day. Although I do believe that especially during 2020, I am definitely more of a duck right now. I am working very hard, but the people who are depending on me have no clue.
There are a lot of ducks. There are a lot of ducks out there in 2020. You're not alone.
Yeah. I think probably most of us kind of feel that way in some ways, for sure. Tatiana, any last thoughts?
Well,
Anything we can do to, go ahead.
well, my homework is actually to find where my emotions live, because on a physical level, because it looks like you guys all know it and I don't. I just need to figure this out, because we all need to do this exercise. It's excellent, but I don't know where the location. I don't know, how come you all know it and I
You have
don't.
to really relax. You really have to relax and be in a private space where you can sort of be, on your own. You
Oh,
will.
okay.
Yeah, it's
All
not
right.
like too much busyness right now.
Mm-hmm. All right.
No, and I didn't know. I mean, I deal with some anxiety issues. And so I have a physical response to anxiety in my chest. And so I've always attributed it just to that. I've never paid attention to the fact that, like, I didn't realize that was true of other negative emotions until this evening either. So you are not alone.
So when we have a negative emotion, we release 13 to 1400 chemicals that epigenetically, turn on genes that make us less healthy, and just chemically are very detrimental to our health. And it's about, I think it's like a 30-second like rush of chemicals. I have a lot of autoimmune and digestive issues since I was a kid, and right now I would say, and I'm a wellness nerd because of that, but I would say right now, mindset work is probably, if not my number one, it's one of my top 3 go-tos that I'm modalities that I'm using to improve my health. So yeah, it's very, emotions are literally chemicals. They're chemicals in our bodies. And I think part of the work that I've done over the last year is to realize that we are by being physical beings, that means that, sure, there's the mind and there's the consciousness and there's some great mystery on the spiritual side, but we are also literally chemicals. And for me, that was very empowering to learn, because then I thought, well, that's something very concrete that I can shift. So,
Yeah.
So may I ask you
It's fascinating. Go ahead, Tatiana.
yeah, I wanted to ask, so it looks like when you have negative emotions, the negative chemicals come out. When you have positive emotions, the positive ones come out. Is that how it works?
yeah. And I think degenerative or regenerative is probably a good word to explain them. So when you're having a negative emotions, you're releasing degenerative chemicals that are breaking down your physical body. They're actually doing damage to your brain. Whereas when you're having positive emotions, you're releasing regenerative chemicals that are healing and enhancing. And do you know what epigenetics is?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same thing epigenetically. The negative emotions are turning on genes that are more likely to make us sick over time, whereas the positive ones are turning on genes that are more likely to keep us healthy. So it's very powerful.
So Tatiana, are you familiar with Joe Dispenza?
Yeah, I've discovered him a few months ago, and I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of his stuff, Becoming Supernatural, a lot of his studies really do deal with kind of the chemical side. The spiritual side, but the chemical side of emotions and thoughts. And he really studies that stuff. So yeah, study him. You'll learn a lot.
Yeah, he's good.
Thanks. Yeah.
One other thing that y'all can think about, that I think about, is just the vibration that the feelings that we have put out. And that's an easy way for me. There's a chart, I posted it recently, but there's like this pyramid shape, or maybe it goes like this. And the higher the frequency, the more positive the emotion, the better the vibration. And
Right.
the more negative the emotion, the lower the frequency. It's not only not good for you, but it's not good for anybody. So I like thinking of it that way. That helps me a lot.
Yeah. Now, are you guys all familiar with binaural beats? You know what that are? What binaural beats are? Well, okay, so binaural beats are different vibrations, and the way it works is you wear headphones, and your left ear and your right ear are listening to different things. Yeah, so there's different sounds going in the two different ears, and so your brain tries to synthesize it, and inside your brain will start to vibrate differently. And there's all kinds of YouTube videos out there, and there's a Centerpoint HoloSync. Bill Harris, who is now deceased, but he had this whole program put together on using binaural beats and HoloSync beats to really start raising your internal vibration and vibrating at different levels depending on different things, because you are just like a big radio receiver. You can tune in, you can be just slightly off, but just tune in a little bit, just change the vibration, just change the thought a little bit, and suddenly you'll attract new and different things in your life. So, you know, one of those things that I learned about binaural beats a long time ago, and if I'm feeling down, sometimes I put on the headphones and I find a couple programs to listen to just to get the vibration to change. Because if you're in a rut, it can just break you right out of it. So that's the thought.
Good one.
So anything else for anyone? Oh, we're going to call it. We're going to call it a night. Who's that?
Who's the one with the binaural beats that you were talking?
It's Bill Harris. It's Centerpoint.
Centerpoint with an E. I'm actually going to the last level.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I told you I've got the CDs and no CD player, so I'm kind of stuck. I have to go get a CD player one of these days. Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've done them for.
But it's Centerpoint. It's CENTERPOINTE, and the guy's name was Bill Harris. And there is a free, I don't know, 20-minute HoloSync that I listen to every once in a while just to do it. I will post the link to the free one in the Mirelli group a little bit later tonight, so you can at least get a sample of it. But you do have to listen to it wearing headphones. Won't do you any good if you just listen to it. You got to have the headphones on because your left ear and your right ear have to hear different things.
Yeah, if anybody wants more information on that, I've done them for over 10 years.
Yeah.
That changed my life. And Beth, I do one of Joe Dispenza's meditations every morning for my generalized health stuff. It's called The Blessings of the Energy Centers. But you might want to look into heart math. It's so heart and brain coherence is huge on a health wise, but especially if you're feeling stuff in your heart. So there's the Heart Math Institute in Boulder Creek, California, that has done a lot of research and developed exercises and stuff. One of the reasons why I'm doing, well, you know, I'm 58. I think we all start to, maybe not all of us, but most of us seem to develop some kind of heart stuff. And I don't want to take medication, so I'm going to do it through meditation. So,
What do you use it for?
That's awesome. Thank you. I'll look that up.
It helps with my blood pressure and everything too, and then also helps with the joints.
Joints. This one right here?
Yeah, and it has, you know, healthy heart and all that.
Because the flax is in it?
Yeah, it's the fish.
Hi, all.
All right. Anyone have anything else? All right. Well, then, thank you guys so much. It was fun. Yep. We'll see you later, Alex. Thank you. So, Shoshanna, thank you so much. This was fun.
yeah, thank you.
And you're welcome to come back any Tuesday.
Thank you
We'll
guys
be right
very much. I loved hearing your stories. I've got your names and your notes, and I know what you're all doing.
Thank you, Shoshanna.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.